Look at this thing. Ah! They're incredible. They bring me so much joy. Hi, I'm Wolf, and today I'm going to design a vest, knit it, and then embroider it. And I'm going to start with this special wool right here. So here's what's going on with this wool. On our last vacation, we went for a road trip. And at one point, we were driving for hours. Absolutely nothing around. No houses, no cars, just potholes left, right, and center. And all of a sudden, there was a store just right by the road, right there. So I had to pull in. I had to see what was going on. I walk in, and there was a room in the back. And there was this wonderful lady who had a bunch of alpaca yarn. She told me she had like 5 alpacas. That was it. And that there was a local mill that was processing the fiber for her. So I had to buy it. I simply had to. So I bought all of the sport weight black alpaca she had. I didn't notice this at the time. It is 20% wool. I assume it's just some kind of sheep. I don't know where that part came from. But when it comes to the alpaca content in this yarn, she actually even showed me the picture of the exact alpaca it came from because she only has one black one. So with that in mind, I don't know if I can get more. And I have a bit of range anxiety on this because I weighed this vest I knit a bit ago, and it weighs exactly as much as all of this yarn combined. Obviously, this is a different blend. This had some cashmere and some wool. I don't remember. So this kind of looks like DK-ish, and this is sport weight. So I'm hoping that means it's going to be enough, but it's unclear. I've been in this situation many times before. This vest was knit the same way, and this vest was knit the same way, where I had just about enough yarn and it wasn't quite sure. So what I did in both cases, I knit a swatch large enough to weigh a few grams, estimated the area of a vest, and just checked if I have like roughly enough grams for that area. It's not super accurate, but it's always served me well, so that's what I'm going to do now. As you can see, the yarn is already kind of ramen-y. That's because I've already swatched with it. I tried knitting this vest a few months ago. I swatched. I loved the fabric and stockinette, but it felt boring. I just wasn't feeling a boring stockinette vest. They have their place. This one is a boring stockinette vest, and I like it, but I wanted something more. And I tried swatching some lacy patterns, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I put this away and let it simmer, and I think I'm ready to tackle it again. So I'm gonna go up a needle size. This is US 5. I was doing it on US 4s, and I think the stockinette was just slightly too dense. Let's get swatching. So here's a question. How do you make knitting content look interesting? Because look at this. This is just infinite wrist wriggling. Like right here, I'm doing it in real time. I think I'm purling here. Is this fun? Is this entertaining? Are you into wrist wriggling? Scissors? I got snips instead. Alrighty. There we go. Here's my swatch. First, let's see how much this weighs. That is 7 grams. And I'm gonna wash it and block it so I can measure it in a meaningful way. So I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Welcome to the morning after, when the swatches are dry and I'm being blinded by the sun. I really like the fabric, and now I'm gonna do all of my estimates to see if I have enough. 7 grams gives us, let's see what area we get out of this. Oh no, this is triggering the cats. So it's about 5. This is curling a bit, but that's normal. Doing my best to not stretch this. It's 5 by 4 1/4. Where's the calculator? Now this looks like it pulls in. I don't know. You can't really see that on camera. It looks like it's straight, but it's not. It actually looks like it pulls in, even though it's the same amount of stitches across. I think it's just from wear. So let's see. Let's do around here. So what I did is I took the horizontal measurement and the vertical measurement. I'm gonna multiply those and then multiply by 2 because this has a front and a back. I'm simplifying the vest as a rectangle. This is just an estimate, so it's not gonna be like perfectly on point anyway. I'm trying to overestimate to make sure I still have some leeway. If I don't, I don't know what I'm gonna do then. I haven't been in that situation yet. Hi. Thank you for helping. Oh, this is not good. The math is suggesting I need another ball of yarn. So I was planning on making much larger armholes. I was actually going to extend them all the way down to my hips, just because I felt like it. Let's see what that would give me. So if I do this instead, that's also not great, but it's coming closer. So if I cut off like this, just the middle part, that brings me under how much yarn I have. The only problem is I still have the little extra bits here, which, given that this is 7 grams, that might actually fill it out. This is gonna be close. This is gonna be scary. Emotional support coffee. Hi, you came to help? What if I just do it and deal with the consequences later? It's kind of what I normally do. I did the math again. It wasn't as bad as I thought. So let's talk design. I just kind of was sitting there and went, bees. You know, as we all do. So I'm gonna try to embroider bees on it. Recording is making me think too much and plan ahead. I don't normally do that. I just kind of go and then cry about it. This is new to me, trying to think through and talk through all of this mess that's in the cabbage. The cabbage is very messy. Here's 3 of the Holst cones I have that I was gonna use for embroidering the bees. I don't have a problem. You're a problem. Shut up. And here's what's up. I want to embroider bees, which notoriously have black on them, on a black background. You see where I'm going with this, right? So here's a dark gray Holst cone. I think it's gonna be cute. Oh, you farted. Thank you for that. How kind of you. Yeah, thank you. Good job. At the spot. Yeah. No, that's not for eating. And it's evening now. I have my tea. I have my math done. If you do want to know all the nitty-gritty of how I do the math and vibe out my designs, let me know in the comments, because once I am more comfortable in front of camera, I'm pretty sure I could make that happen. So I'm gonna pop some YouTube on that monitor over there and cast it on. So I don't know about you, but I find that it's a lot easier to overestimate longtail cast on than underestimate, just because it crushes your soul less, so that's what I do. High octane wrist wriggling action. Just look at me go. And now I'm wrist wriggling with a cat behind my back. It's called content. Look it up. And I'm up to the armholes. So as soon as I started knitting, I realized I didn't explain anything whatsoever. Here's what's going on. I started knitting without the bottom ribbing. So the panels are not going to have any ribbing. And just in case I run out of yarn, I can use a different yarn for the ribbing on all sides so that it matches. Excuse you? What's with the nails? Don't dig nails in my bum. So here's the basic logic behind armholes. You calculate how many stitches you need to decrease until your panel is at its thinnest point, and then you divide those stitches into 3 parts. you want them as even as possible, but if it's not exactly divisible by 3, it's fine. You can shuffle them around. Now the first part, you bind off on the first row. The second part, you bind off 1 every second row. And then the third part, you bind off 1 every fourth row. Assuming your armholes are symmetrical, which most likely they are, you're going to be binding off on both sides at the same time, so you kind of have to juggle them. But that's the basic principle. I learned this from a blog post I'm going to link down below, so you can check it out. Oh, I need to write stuff down because I'm going to be doing the exact same for the back panel, so I need to remember exactly what I did. Oh my gosh, more wrist wriggling. Just what you wanted. Also, ew, gross. Look how much this yarn sheds. Super gross. And now we have up close and personal real-time wrist wriggling. What do you think of that? Look at it. Look at me wriggling those wrists for you. Okay, I think I'm going to do the rest off camera. This is a lot. Good news, everyone. Oh. Is this content yet? Oh, that looks terrible. Is this better? Oh, yellow makes me so happy. Sorry about the yellow. I love yellow, but it's a little much. I'm working on it. I'm learning woodworking very slowly, but I'm learning woodworking. And this space is gonna get filled out, and I haven't quite decided what I'm gonna do with this wall, but probably some kind of art storage thing. Where was I? Knitting, right. So I haven't been feeling well. That's not the good news. The good news is I almost finished the front panel and only used up the first ball of yarn, the same one that I knit the swatch from. So that's great. 1 ball for the front panel, 1 ball for the back panel, and then the ribbing. Here it is. This is probably the worst time to show it. This side, I haven't done the neck decreases yet. This one I already have, and it's all curled up because it's stuck in net. So earlier I was telling you the rule of thumb for the armholes, and for the neck holes it's a little bit different. So you calculate how many stitches you need for your neck as a whole. Then the same way as with armholes, the first third in the middle you completely bind off, but then the rest of them you kind of group up into 3s and 2s and 1s, and you fit them in the first roughly like half the rows you have left, and the rest you just knit without any decreases, or bind offs I guess is more accurate. And that's how you get around neck in the front. The back is a little bit different because you don't need the final bit without decreases, and you bind off about half the stitches right at the start. I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna put the links in the description just in case you want to check. I would like to rewrite the neck ones the way that makes sense to me. I think there's certain steps that are missing from those instructions. Also, they don't talk about how to do the math if you're doing ribbing like I am, because then your neck needs to be, you know, even lower depending on how thick your ribbing is. So, long story short, I'm gonna get it done and I'm gonna show it to you what it actually looks like, because right now it's probably difficult to understand even if you do knit. So, I'll be back. Yeah, so it's fitting exactly as I expected. And now I'm gonna go knit the back panel off camera and I'll see you then. So it's been a few days. I'm caught up on editing and the 2 panels are done. They look very derpy. I'm gonna quickly sew them together and we're gonna see how the fit is looking. And then I'm gonna go on to knitting all of the ribbing. I'm gonna start with the neck, just because I find that sort of sets the tone for everything else. And I'm gonna be picking up with a crochet hook because I am a fiber arts heathen and I don't care. It's just so much easier. You should try it too. Okay, so this is still curling like crazy. So the exact shape is difficult to tell, but I think we're gonna be okay. It's gonna be a lot of ribbing. And I have a whole ball of yarn, so hopefully that's gonna be enough. We shall see. Also, please appreciate this shirt. I love it so much. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is for ribbing, I'm gonna go down a needle size. I'm gonna go down to at least US 4s. Also, pro tip, if you have interchangeable needles, have a square of this kitchen drawer, pantry lining, anti-slip stuff. Just have a square of it around. It really helps tighten the needles properly. I don't know what I would do without it. Why is your back wet? What'd you do? The neck is finished and it's already looking way better, so that's great. I haven't cut the yarn yet. That's why you have my pocket yarn here, because I wasn't sure, and now I'm sure. I think this looks great. I'm going to knit one armhole and I'm going to try and aim for a third of this, kind of roughly. I mean, these are big. They might be a bit bigger than the bottom, but the bottom needs to be wider, so good enough, roughly a third. If I go over a third, that's when I'm going to be concerned about having enough for the bottom, is what I'm trying to get to. I'm so excited. It's going to look good. So yeah, bye for now. I'm going to be back when this is done. Hello. I am back for a quick update. So last night I did the first of the armholes, and as you can hopefully see, it's puckering a lot. I was very nervous about picking up too many stitches and using up too much yarn. So clearly I overdid it the other way. This is really pulling up, and in reality it should be around here. So as you can see, I have my yarn attached to me still. So I'm gonna figure out how many stitches to add, undo it, pick up again, and hopefully it's gonna fit better. So yes, I'll be back when all of that is done. This time, hopefully for real, and there's no more failures in the way. It is time to figure out how to embroider on knit fabric. I've seen other people use sticky water-soluble stabilizer, so I have a pack of it here. I've never done this kind of embroidery before, never done any kind of freestyling either. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see what happens. I have my swatch here. I'm gonna bring you guys closer so you can hopefully see what I'm doing, assuming this guy allows me. And then we're gonna see what happens. So it took me a few tries to get the size that I wanted, and then once I did, I just went for it with pretty much no plan. I varied my stitches a fair bit, maybe a little bit too much at the start, but I really wanted to give it that kind of nice organic look so that they kind of like they're having a bad hair day or something. And I think it went really well. The stabilizer washed off well, and I love how it looks. I'm so happy with how this came out. It brings me such an absurd amount of joy. Some updates. I ended up not using my Sashiko needles. The smallest one, the yarn wouldn't go through the eye, and then the larger one just seemed too unwieldy. And as I thought, my tapestry needles are just too blunt. So what I ended up using was my cross-stitch needle. It worked, but it's kind of silly. So if you have suggestions on what sort of needles you like using for embroidering on knitting, using like, this is roughly fingering to light fingering, then let me know in the comments because I am actively on the lookout. So here's the plan. The wash away stabilizer worked extremely well. So I hand drew all of my little bees. You can print on it with a regular printer, though I do have a laser printer and the instructions say to use an ink printer. So I don't know if that would have worked, but it's something to keep in mind that if you don't want to go crazy drawing out a bunch of identical bees, then you can just print it. I drew one different one. Can you even see that? There we go. Yeah, I drew one different one for the front. Otherwise, there's 9 more bees that are roughly the same as the one I did here. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna start. look at this thing. Ah! I spent yesterday and today stitching all of the bees. I did 5 yesterday and 4 today. And I love them so much. I only have 1 bee left to do, and that's the one that's sleeping in a flower. And the imagery of bumblebees sleeping in flowers brings me so much joy. So I'm extra excited about this one. Alrighty, let me bring you closer. It came out way better than I thought it would. If it's exactly as I wanted, I'm gonna wear this like all the time. It's great, and it gives me like a bit more ventilation here because it's not really that cold anymore. Yeah, look at this thing. Look, look, look. A bee and a sleeping bee. Ah! Tell me that doesn't bring you joy. So yeah, I'm a tiny channel. At the time of filming, I still only have 17 subscribers. So like and subscribe, comment, you know, dislike if you disliked it for some reason. What's wrong with you? Anyhow, do something. It helps the old algorithm to see me more, because I know weirdos like me are out there. I just gotta find them somehow.